We'll just go through the song, pause whenever we want to talk about something.
Okay, that's it. Okay, stop. It's that synthesizer that just drives into my brain like a metal spike.
We are so excited to announce that today is me and Evan's debut as the hosts of the podcast Punch Up the Jam. Every week, we're going to listen to one of the greatest songs in the history of the world, and by the end of the episode, re-record it and somehow make it even greater. We're going to punch up the jam. To start it off with a bang, our first guest is Weird Al Yankovic. We talked to him for more than an hour about a song every single person loves, Sir Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time. Here's a little preview of the episode. To hear the whole thing, plus me and Evan's Punch Up, aka our totally new, improved, better, blood-soaked version of Wonderful Christmas Time, subscribe to Punch Up the Jam wherever you get your podcasts. And the only place to download the Punch Up is at patreon.com/Gregory Brothers.
So would you describe yourself and Sir Paul as an arch nemesis or more of just like a middle of the road enemy?
Because the paper is going to just take out the one sentence where you say, I'd rather rip my head off than listen to the song again. He's been such a big part of my life, and I respect him more than any musician in the world. And Wonderful Christmas Time, which is going to kind of go against that maybe a little bit, because I'm not a big fan of that particular song.
I mean,
I want to establish right off the bat how much I love Sir Paul. He's he's my hero. Musical karma-wise, Paul McCartney's entire output in the 60s barely outweighs Wonderful Christmas Time.
Maybe we could spend like 2-3 hours all talking about how much we love Sir Paul before we spend 5 to 10 minutes talking about how we don't like this song, just in case he listens.
Sure. And I'm a huge Sir Paul fan, which I'll talk about shortly. I bet like the week it came out, it sounded really cool. I hate to like badmouth anything that Sir Paul does.
We didn't have time to juice up Paul for 2 hours before we started ripping apart the song, but I like that we're sprinkling in respect for Paul through the entire podcast by calling him Sir Paul constantly.
You have to.
You have to. So,
as far as I know, we're legally required and can be put into British prison if we don't.
Sir Paul.
Sir Paul.
Sir Paul. Sir Paul is describing like the bare minimum Christmas. Sir Paul.
Paul's Sir Paul.
As we gush about Sir Paul, I do think it's funny. All lovers of Sir Paul are kind of like coming from a place of like, the reason I love Paul is that he's kind of the fun Beatle. And yet here, he like makes this lark of a song and we're like, why is Paul doing a lark? Why is the fun Beatle who does whatever he wants doing whatever he wants? Sir Paul.
Again, apologies to Sir Paul, who I love more than life itself.
We might as well just jump into the song. We, of course, are looking to vampirically siphon off your wisdom as to how we might conceivably improve this song. We'll just go through the song, pause whenever we want to talk about something.
Okay, that's it. Okay, stop. It's that synthesizer that just drives into my brain like a metal spike.
But I think we're ready to play the punch up.
I can't wait for this.
Do we have the final mix in, Evan?
Yeah, just real quick, what we decided to run with, I guess it's maybe two things that we really wanted to change or punch up about this classic track. I couldn't take on the arrangement. It was too much for my brain to compute, even though it is something that feels so dated and clunky. It's also the one of the signature components, and so what I focused on was the lack of specifics in the song. So we wrote up maybe some more specifics that help you understand exactly what kind of Christmas time is being had.
You're trying to say we're showing, not
smart.
telling.
The original's kind of vague. It's good, nice that you kind of like, put a point on it.
And the one other mystery I wanted to solve that really, to me, is glaring in the original is what's the deal with these freaking kids and why did it take a year to ding dong?
That's the mystery everyone wants solved. Everyone wants the mystery of the ding dong solved.
I can't wait to hear this.
Let's hear it. Spin it up. I'm sure you love this part, Al.
At CVS, the lights are bright. Shopping frantically for 5 gifts tonight.
Wow.
And that's it.
That's amazing. I mean, Again, apologies to Sir Paul, who I love more than life itself, but I think you beat him into the ground with this.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, I'll be back in 1 second. I'm going to edit my Twitter bio real quick. And I'm going to send a tweet to Paul McCartney.
There's so many things about your version that I love. Any song with a double modulation, I automatically love, no matter what the song is. But you made a whole story out of this. It has an arc. It goes somewhere. You take us on a journey. I'm going to fault you for rhyming drunk with want. Normally that would be an automatic fail, but you made up for it. And I have to say, what would Randy Jackson say in this case? I don't know.
Hey, you're going to Hollywood, dog.
Going to Hollywood.
You're going to Hollywood, dog.
Yeah, we had to push the boundaries of the couple rhymes. If I set up the rhyme with drunk, I just don't want to give you trunk because you see it coming.
Right.
On Saturday afternoon, Evan sent me several recordings of his 5-year-old twins singing about getting revenge on their enemies once they had Santa's magic dust. And it really made me question how Evan's children's vision of Christmas is going to change irrevocably because of this song.
That's good parenting, my friend.
Just because I'm writing parody Christmas songs, now I'm explaining to 5-year-olds the concept of revenge.
I think of you basically as the inventor of comedy music, Al. What advice do you have for us to take all these songs, punch them up, and make them just indisputably better?
Just look within yourself, look to your heart, peel back the layers, dig deep inside, and just try to do whatever you can to make the world a better place.
That sounds simple enough.
Oh, it's easy. Okay, so if we're hearing you right, Al, all we have to do to improve songs is to peel back the layers of our brain, our heart, and our minds, and make the world.
Not literally though. That would be messy and bloody, and you don't. It's a metaphor. Come
Okay,
on,
metaphorically, we have to make the world a better place, and then our songs will just kind of fall into place. It's kind of like, if we can center ourselves, the songs will be right.
That's essentially correct. So just do that. Everything will work out.
Okay, this is great advice.
I'm feeling a lot more confident now that we had this little mentoring session.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up today. Al, we talked to you about this a little bit off mic with a new segment we're doing. Demi and Miel, the fantastic former host of this podcast, used to do a segment called Unpunchable Jams. And if anything, in their incredible tenure as hosts, they taught us that every jam can be punched up.
Every jam is punchable. There is no unpunchable jam.
They punched up so many songs that I thought were perfect. So we've decided to retire their segment, Unpunchable Jams. And today we're going to debut a new segment, a segment called Walk-In Music. And we're going to talk about what song each of us would want to play when we walked into an event of our choosing. It could just be a really great party, maybe a boring Christmas party. You could be a closer for the Yankees, Game 7, ninth inning. You're walking to the mound. Or it could be a more fantastical scenario, like you're charging into your arch nemesis's dojo to fight 20 ninjas at the same time.
Okay, got it.
Al, what would you like to share or picture you'd like to paint for us?
Oh, I'm not going to do a Christmas thing, but I will do a Sir Paul thing because I still feel kind of guilty because I hate to say anything negative about Sir Paul. So my reason for picking this are twofold. One, I want to give my props again to Sir Paul. And number two, I want to reclaim this song from Charlie Manson. I'm picking Helter Skelter.
Oh,
Wow. What's your
figured,
scenario?
I just want people to associate this song with a happy event in my life, hypothetically, as opposed to a series of mass murders.
So what's your scenario? What are you walking into, Al?
Okay, well, let me preface this by saying that I don't believe in renewing your wedding vows. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I've been married to my wife for 20 plus years now, and people are, why, you should renew your vows. Like, no, we did it once. We meant it the first time. Why would we do that? That's stupid. Like, why would you ever do that? So this is a very hypothetical situation, where there's a change in the administration in a few years, maybe, where it's a government mandate that if you've been married like 25 years, you have to renew your vows. Okay,
that's automatic divorce. Maybe it's just fully divorced.
So my walk-in music, actually, I'd be doing somersaults down the aisle. No, I changed that. Scratch that. Cartwheels down the aisle.
Sure.
Because I can't do cartwheels, so it'd be mostly falling down. like attempting cartwheels and falling down a lot while Helter Skelter was playing. I think that would set the right mood, and I think that would reclaim the song from Charlie Manson.
Absolutely. Here's the
Let's
track.
hear it. In your vision, as you're falling down the aisle, what is your besainted bride doing at the altar?
He's looking at me lovingly and saying, "I love you, honey! Helter Skelter! Woo!"
My wife and I have a major inside joke about people who renew their vows, which is whenever anyone renews their vows and we're talking to her mother about it, her mother looks at us and is like dead serious about this, and she's just like, I wonder which one of them it was that cheated. My mother-in-law is like 100% convinced that the only people that renew their vows are people that one of them has cheated. Yeah, become a major meme for me.
That means that they were, I wasn't really serious the first time. Now I really, really mean it.
I didn't know what I was getting into.
I really mean it this time, and that's why I'm playing Helter Skelter as I do cartwheels down the aisle.
Because I know what utter chaos life is with you.
No, I just found out, it was for some other episode we were prepping for, I never knew what a Helter Skelter was. Did you guys know this, that a Helter Skelter is like a known thing?
You mean like a noun?
It's not a made-up word. I always thought Helter Skelter was just a made-up word.
So what is it?
It's a thing in England. It's a specific kind of carnival ride that you spin around.
Oh, one of those things.
Yeah, well, it's like a slide. It's like a crazy slide you come down.
Okay.
I did not know that.
And so, me neither. And it was just like, okay, that makes the song even like, is it better or worse? I'm not sure, but it gives me a very specific feeling of spinning now. It really works with your cartwheels.
I love the song. To me, the only thing that could make it better would be like a couple ding-dongs thrown in.
Wait, what if it was just 2 or 3 minutes longer with the same stuff again at the end?
Yeah, for this song, I don't mind. You could loop this like 3 or 4 times. I'd be okay with that.
Al's just barfing down the aisle at that point, 6 minutes in.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm just crazy about this pick. This song rocks so hard that the scene you've set is easy to imagine, that you burst in cartwheeling or perhaps on a tightrope, wild dogs coursing before you, and the whole crowd is gonna erupt. I mean, people are just gonna start cheering for you, and that's the vibe that you're entering into your next 25 years with.
Well, you know what's great about it is it fades out near the end, and that's where you do your vows, and then it comes back up again, and people are like, yeah!
I love that.
Didn't the first time, but now he means it, yeah!
I love to imagine that your wedding DJ doesn't even edit it, that, you have 3.5 minutes of rolling down the aisle. You have about 10 seconds of quiet to do your vows, and then Helter Skelter is just back up. You're like, this is legally mandated by the government. We're doing the bare minimum. It's a vow renewal, so like all vow renewals, there's about 8 people here, but we still spend a lot of money on it. Helter Skelter's back up.
Mm-hmm. Get your vows in.
I signed
super
papers
fast.
with the CPA, and we're all done.
For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, second and a half. Yeah!
Al, amazing pick.
It's coming back in! It's coming back in!
Oh my God!
Yeah!
Weird Al stood up and started doing a cartwheel.
They didn't mean it the first time, but they're back, baby!
Ding dong!